everyone out there. This is Tammy Williams, and this is Things of Interest. And I have my guest, LaFeece Gallimore. Hello, LaFeece.
Hello, how you doing?
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
We have a lot of things to talk about today, so you all pay attention. We don't want to go too fast. LaFeece, you have a lot of things going on. Where do you want to start?
Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about is the Stand Your Ground statewide conversation that is being put on by Michigan Citizens United to repeal PA 309, which is Michigan's version of Stand Your Ground.
Okay.
And so we're trying to form a coalition to support our state senator, Rebecca Warren, who is trying to introduce a Senate bill, you know, to get that bill repealed, that law repealed.
Okay.
So, you know, we are working with Eastern Michigan University, which is where it's going to be held.
Okay.
On October 11th.
Okay.
From 9 to 1 at the Student Center Building, room 300.
Okay.
So we're inviting about 15 to 18 conversationalists.
Okay.
And I want to emphasize that this is not a conference, this is not a forum, this is not a workshop.
Okay.
This is people coming, citizens from the state of Michigan coming together to talk about and educate each other about this particular issue.
Okay.
So, you know, I think that needs to be well informed, and it does not necessarily have to be limited to the 15 to 18 conversationalists, but there are others that are welcome to attend as well.
Okay. Okay. So that's going to be, we're going to flash the information before you again. And that's going to be at Eastern Michigan University, Stand Your Ground, October 11th, 9 to 1 at the Student Center Building, room 300. And so, you know, make a point to come out there and talk and be informed and educated about the Stand Your Ground laws, talking about repealing it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
Okay, and that's, you know, just one of the things that you're doing. Now, what's the other occasion that you're here to talk about?
Well, you know, there's a group that I've been working with. It's called the Victim Offenders Conferences Steering Committee. And, you know, we're looking at trying to figure out a way that we can bring victims and offenders together to resolve issues that one may have committed against each other.
Okay.
And there's several angles that we're looking at. So we don't have anything in place at this point in time, but we've had several meetings. Okay. And you know, we're looking at possibly, you know, collaborating with some other groups that might, you know, fit into what we're trying to do. Okay. But the idea is that we've got too many young people that are being put into the system for nonviolent offenses, and maybe it does not have to happen.
I see.
You know, and so the idea is that if we can figure out a way to have the victim and the offender work out their differences without that young person going into the system, then that's what we're really trying to do.
Okay, so this that's the play that you're going to have at the Brown Chapel, and I'll flash that information in a minute. So you're inviting the community. Are you also inviting, well, I mean, offenses happen towards other people as well as businesses. So you're just trying to get just people involved, period, to talk about this issue. I mean, if someone offends another person, or if someone does something to a business or property, or, I mean, you don't really have any scenarios set up, just that people can come together and talk about the issues before going into the system.
Well, the key thing to remember, is that first of all, we got to educate people about that whole process, because when I talk with folks about it, they say, well, you know, what are you talking about, you know? Yeah. So I think the main thing is that we need to educate people about what that whole process is about, okay? And people think, well, you know, you're letting the offender off real easily. No, it's not. It's very difficult for an offender to face their victim, okay? It's very difficult. And sometimes there can be a growth process involved in that, where they realize that not only have they offended a person, they've also offended the community. Okay. So that's part of what that educational piece is about. Okay. And we have a play that was written by a gentleman out of Canada that is being produced by one of our members, Gertrude. Okay. and it's called a tough case.
Okay.
What it does is that it illustrates how that process works. It's called a player's theater, where there's no props and things like that, and we're using regular people from the community, to read the various parts. But what it does is it walks people through that process.
So they'll learn through watching the play.
Exactly.
I see.
We're hoping to, we're going to premiere this at Brown Chapel Church in
Okay.
Ypsilanti,
Yes.
September 19th.
Okay.
And,
From
we're
3 to 6.
3 to 6.
Okay.
And we're hoping that not only members from Brown Chapel, but members from other congregations
Okay.
will send folks there as well, and people from the community.
Yeah. Well, everybody's gonna have to be big people. I mean, we all gonna have to be able to forgive and, I guess, accept where the offenders is coming from, and, where the people that have been offended are coming from. Is some work to be done.
Yes, it is. I mean, but the thing that I want to emphasize more than anything
Okay.
is the fact that this could be a way of keeping young people out of the system, especially if they have not committed a violent crime.
Okay.
And the victim, if they participate in that process, can help with that. So it's, and the community as well, because, when a crime is committed, it's not just against the victim. And,
Yeah, it hurts everybody.
it
It
hurts
hurts more
everybody.
than you would imagine, Yeah, I'm interested to see that. I don't want to say too much about it because, when you see the play and see how you have set it up, I'm sure you will all grow from it. Because in, talking about it, you have a lot of things going through your head. And they might not even be necessary once, you get an idea of just what's happening. This
Yeah.
is new for me as well, because it seems kind of complicated.
Well, I think it's new for all of us.
Okay.
And there was a gentleman that worked for the ACLU, Mark Fancher.
Mm-hmm.
About 10 years ago, he started promoting the concept of restorative justice
Okay.
in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And it has, I think within the last 5 years, it's really taken off. I mean, people have picked up on it
Yeah.
and are really running with it now because they understand. We can't, you can't lock up everybody, okay?
Yeah. I know, like, sitting here talking to you about it, and, you kind of introducing it to me, I can remember, like, for example, things that happen in the school system. And I know maybe you're talking about, broader things than that, but sometimes things could have been resolved without getting, like, especially like in Ypsilanti where there's policemen in the school. Things could have got taken care of if the parents hadn't
Yeah.
been called together, and we wouldn't have had to deal with any juvenile incidents, which we did have to. And that would have made things a lot easier, had the police or, law enforcement got involved.
Yeah. Well, see, the other thing too is that
Okay.
I want to mention while I have this opportunity is that I think in Ypsilanti Township they were trying to introduce this truancy law,
Okay.
where parents can be held criminally accountable if their kids miss a certain amount of days. Now, why would we want to go out and criminalize a parent?
Well,
Because if they have to go to jail, that means that they can't work. Okay,
Yeah.
they may lose their job.
yeah.
And it's a law that just does not make any sense.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me, LaFeast. But I excuse me for that. I should have
Sure.
cut this phone off. But one of my pet peeves with the school system was always that they didn't want to deal with social issues. It's like everybody within the school system worked for the school system. I mean, that goes back to, punishing people for talking against, the people that are paying their wages. That, they don't want to speak out or try to talk, or have anything that goes against the people that are paying their salaries. And sometimes the school system, there was nobody there that you kind of was neutral, that could just raise some different, ideas. and deal with the children. They wanted to deal with the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, and we're just talking about the school system. I'm sure that you're talking about, a lot of other areas that people can deal with this program. But just use the school system as an example. They don't want to deal with any social issues. They want to punish, but not deal with any type of why would the students do certain things? They just want to punish them for doing it. And I always thought a liaison or somebody that wasn't just like directly involved with the school system that could just step in and just raise some ideas, or maybe even speak in behalf of the students or the staff, being that they didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
Well, I think that one of the things that I have observed over the years, and plus having 2 kids that went through the school system, the schools have become a lot more complicated than they were when I was in school.
Okay.
And there are so many legal requirements, things that you cannot do, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's very confusing to the administrators and teachers sometimes. Okay. Because they're involved in that system, and they can be very vulnerable. But what that doesn't mean is that we do not need to sit back and not look at ways where we can resolve issues, with young people in the school system. Okay. Because there are ways that that can be done. But my thing is that like when you have police officers in the school, and a kid get into a tussle with somebody else, the police is called. Next thing you know, the kid is out at juvenile court. We need to get away from that, that way of thinking, and try to look at ways of problem solving, as opposed to a punishment.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And you introducing this, I said, I'm going to go and see this play and learn, because I just have a lot of questions right now, and I don't want to, overthink it. I'm just trying to understand. Like, I know, it might be like I can assume that if it's an offender, it might take something from a store instead of them calling the police. Maybe try to resolve it without doing that. Is that one of the scenarios involved, or how is it going? I mean, if I hit you, if it's nonviolence, is it a nonviolent incident that this will apply to?
If it's a crime against property,
okay.
Someone breaks into your house, or a nonviolent kind of a situation.
Okay.
Maybe it can be dealt with differently than if someone assault you.
Okay.
Okay. So those are 2 different scenarios that we need to take a look at. And my concern is that too often. And this is not just African American kids that we're talking about.
Okay.
Too often, young people that commit a mistake, get in a little trouble, rather than try to resolve that within the community, they have shifted off to juvenile court.
Yeah. Okay.
And so once they get in the system, it's almost impossible for them to get out of the system.
Okay.
Because they got a record, and the least little thing they do afterwards, that they're going to get punished again.
Absolutely. And young people now, it's like they don't see the dangers of society until after they are faced with it. And as a mature adult who's raised children, you try to tell them how to be careful in life without instilling fear into them. And so it's kind of difficult. And as they get older, when they get targeted or things start happening, then they get this, say, well, this is why we tell you, because society kind of tricks them, makes them feel like they have this false sense of security, when really, they have to be careful. And like having not seen the play yet, I'm kind of hesitant to say some things. I want to learn some things from it too, just how you're going to approach it. And deal with the conflicts,
Well, I think it's like I said earlier. This is all new for all of us.
Okay, it is.
And so,
it is.
Yeah, we're learning.
It is.
I mean, we're in the process of learning. But the thing about it is that the people that I've been working with are very committed to this concept.
Okay.
And the two, the husband and wife team that Dr. Stan Reedy and his wife Janet, they're the ones that initiated this concept for this community, I think about a year ago.
Okay.
I just got involved about 6 months ago.
Okay.
But it's new to all of us.
Yes, yes.
And so we're just trying to put it together, piece it, trying to figure out how we want to get it organized. We're exploring different options. But the point is that I think that this can be a very, very effective tool in our community if we do it right.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to listen and see a clip from Jackie Wilson. I woke up this morning with this man on my mind. So you all sit back and enjoy, and when Lafisa and I get back, we're going to talk more.
Here's Jackie Wilson. There's no pity in the naked city. When you're all alone and all your hard-earned money's gone, that just ain't no pity. No, in the naked city, yeah. Help me now. You go walking down Broadway, watching people catch the subway. Take it from me, don't ask for a helping hand. No one will understand. There's no pity, yeah.
There's no pity in the naked city. I thought that was appropriate since we're talking about community work and building our city. And we want everybody to come down and learn, as we all learn, about some new ways of approaching things. And that's going to be at the play A Tough Case, September the 19th, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock at Brown Chapel AME Church. That's in Ypsilanti, 1043 West Michigan Ave. And we want you to remember, this is Things of Interest. We come on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., Thursday at 3:30 p.m. on Comcast Cable Channel 17. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please do. It's Eyesight Productions, P.O. Box 980581, Ypsilanti, Michigan, 48198. You can give us a call or send us an email. We'd be glad to talk with you. My guest today is LaFeast Gallimore, and he's a community activist, and he's just, LaFeast, you wear a lot of hats, and you're very busy. We talked about the program with the, what is it called, the restorable, the justice, what's it called?
Well, actually, the program that I came on to your show to talk about today was Stand Your Ground.
Okay, but what we just talked about, that's called what again?
It's called the Victim Offenders Conferencing.
The Victims Offenders Conferencing, and that's going to be at Brown Chapel. And now we are going to talk about more about the Stand Your Ground program. But I told you we have a lot to talk about. And that's going to be at well, that's what we talked. This is at Eastern Michigan University, and it's October the 11th at 9 to 1, and that's at the Student Center Building, room 300. Now, tell us a little bit more about that, LaFeast.
Well, actually, the way we're trying to set it up is that we want it to be a conversation between the citizens of the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And as I said earlier, it's not a forum.
Okay.
It's not a workshop. It's not a conference, so we don't have any people there who are specialists or experts. What we want to do is try to build a conversation between people about this particular bill. And as I said earlier, State Senator Rebecca Warren is getting ready to introduce a Senate bill, to repeal that. So we want to organize. There are three purposes for it. One is to educate ourselves about this bill.
Yes.
The second one is to develop a support system for Senator Warren.
Okay.
And three is to look at how we might be able to put together some strategies, to influence other legislators to
people
get
to
behind.
Work in the community, people that have some time. Is that what you're looking for?
Even if you don't have time.
Okay.
Because when you look at that bill, it's a very draconian kind of a bill.
Okay.
And it's subject to interpretation, anybody's interpretation. If I decide that you pose a threat to me, then I can do great bodily harm to you.
Yes.
Or you can do great bodily harm to me, either way, But the point is that it's, the original concept of the bill was based on the castle doctrine. If someone comes into your house or your property, then you have a right. If your family is threatened, then you have a right to protect your family, your property, and your house. Yeah. Okay, but this thing here, this bill allows people too much room, to interpret how they should respond to a situation. Okay. And that's the thing that we need to keep in mind. And whether you're busy or not, is something that you need to support because it's going to, it may affect you at some point in time. Okay. We can't wait until a young person is killed because someone thought they was going to hurt them. Okay. And then we're going to react and say, oh my God, we got to do something, Now's the time to do something. Well,
and you seem to, with all the activities that you're involved with and what we've talked with today, you stay consistent to help people to, not go to prison, not, go to jail, to, be able to learn from their mistakes, if at all possible, and grow in the community and not fall victim to going to prison. That seems to be your thesis, your theme.
Well, you know what, I'm going to tell you something, though. I just think that, we just have too many people that are being locked up.
Well, yeah.
We have too many people. And I did a little formula once where I calculated that if we've reduced our prison population by 15%, the amount of money that we could save that could then be reinvested into our school system. Yeah. You see? Yeah. And so we need to really work on trying to keep people out of the system because not everybody that gets into trouble needs to be locked up for 5 years.
But, in the Constitution, if you are convicted of a crime, you don't have any rights. So you can be treated like a slave. You don't have any rights that the law has to respect. So it is like a form of slavery, being in prison.
Yeah.
You can't. I think who was that? Jesse Jackson's son was teaching law, teaching, giving people legal advice in prison, and he had to stop. He didn't have rights.
It's a tough one, because, if you're convicted of a felony,
Yeah,
it stays with you for the rest of your life.
yeah,
You lose access to community services.
Yeah.
You lose access to housing.
yeah,
And it's almost impossible to get a job.
yeah.
So what are you going to do? What are folks going to do?
In the subculture, is not rehabilitating people. I don't know. That's just my only observation. People, it's like a subculture. People live in it and survive in it, but they don't get rehabilitated. And I guess I can look that up and get the numbers to back that up. But prison is something you want to avoid, and it's so easily to get trapped up and get violations and violations and felonies and felonies.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, if you don't have a way to survive when you get back into society, what are you going to do? Those are the kinds of questions that we need to ask ourselves as a community. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when people do need to be set down, okay?
Okay.
But we don't need to punish them for the rest of their lives.
Okay.
And that's where the community needs to come in and begin to make some demands about changing how we deal with people that come out and they serve their time, they do the right things, and they do, that's what we need to do as a community.
Well, that sounds like another program, LaFeast. Well, this is Tammy Williams with Things of Interest, and in the community, at least you have access to know a few of the things that are happening. It seems like oftentimes we have programs and things that happen that we don't know anything about, and then all we can do is introduce these programs in the hope that people come and learn and grow from them. It's new to me, but I'm glad to know about it. At least I can go and learn about it.
Yeah, it's new to me too, and it's new to a whole lot of folks. But I think that, like I said, the steering committee that's working on this is very committed.
Okay.
To trying to make this a reality in the community, because I think we're all committed to trying to do the right thing,
Okay.
by people that may have made a mistake.
Yeah, I agree, LaFeast. Now, I want you all out there to remember, we have the program, a play. It's called a Tough Case, September the 19th. That's at 3 to 6, Brown Chapel AME Church. And then we also have October, that's after the play, we have the Stand Your Ground. That's October 11th, 9 to 1 at the Students Center Building, room 300. And we want you to come out and tell somebody and try to make a point to come in. This show will air today, the Tuesday and Thursday. You have our times here, so please, if you don't get the information, we come on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., Thursday at 3:30 p.m. on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, and we're going to, purpose in our hearts to bring it, to remind you of it until the events, happen.
Mm-hmm.
LaFeast, thank you so much for coming on. Would you like to say anything before we close?
Yeah, the only thing that I want to say is that we have a new superintendent in the Ann Arbor Public Schools.
Okay.
And, I've spoken with her about changing the language of the achievement gap.
Okay.
Because, we need to focus on students the day they walk into a building, that they are called student learners, not student achievement gappers.
Okay.
So I just want to appreciate her for that, because I think she has taken it seriously.
Okay. Well, that there's always other topics that concern the African American community that we can talk about, and we have to make some time for you to come on and talk about some other things. It's just stay so busy. This is Tammy Williams with Things of Interest. We'll see you again real soon. God bless you.